We're now almost a month into one of the longest government shutdowns in U.S. history. And what's quietly unfolding behind closed doors might end up being far worse than anyone expected. This isn't just about politics or party gridlock anymore. It's about real people, real bills, and the real risk that millions of Americans could see their benefits dry up right when they need them most. If you believe no senior, no parent, and no family should be punished for Washington's indecision, then hit that like button right now, because the truth you're about to hear needs to reach everyone who depends on these programs. Over the past few weeks, lawmakers in both the House and Senate have gone back and forth, blaming each other for the shutdown that's now paralyzing everything from small-town grocery stores to major government agencies. But a brand new crisis has surfaced. One so unexpected that it could force Congress to start over completely on a new funding bill. The problem isn't just the politics. It's the calendar itself. Back in mid-September, the House passed what AS called a continuing resolution, a temporary funding bill meant to keep the government open for a few more weeks. It was supposed to buy lawmakers time to agree on a long-term spending plan. But hear the S where it gets complicated. That short-term funding patch expires on November 21st. The Senate never approved it, and the House was sent home on recess. Speaker Mike Johnson has repeatedly said he wouldn't bring members back until a deal was ready. But now, time is almost up, and pressure is building fast. Even if Congress somehow passed that same temporary bill today, it would only extend the shutdown deadline to right before Thanksgiving, just a few weeks from now. In other words, even the plan they're fighting over doesn't fix anything. It just resets the clock, leaving millions of people and thousands of programs in limbo. And here's where things start to hit home. One of the first and hardest hit programs in all of this chaos is SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, better known as food stamps. Late last week, the U.S. Department of Agriculture announced something shocking. If the shutdown continues into November, the agency will not issue monthly SNAP benefits. Let that sink in for a moment. Starting November 1st, more than 40 million Americans, about 1 in every 8, could suddenly lose access to the aid they rely on to buy food. USDA officials said it bluntly. Bottom line, the well has run dry. They explained that they can tap emergency reserves this time because those funds are legally set aside for natural disasters, not for covering regular benefit payments. Governors in several states, including Louisiana, Virginia, and Massachusetts, have already declared emergencies or discussed using state money to fill the gap temporarily. But USDA made another thing very clear. Any state that steps in with its own funds will not be reimbursed later. That means they'd be taking the full hit on their own budgets. And this isn't just a Washington story. It's a kitchen table story. When SNAP payments stop, the impact doesn't stay on paper. It spills directly into local communities. Those dollars circulate through neighborhood grocery stores, farmers markets, and family-owned shops. In many small towns, SNAP purchases make up a large share of total food sales. When that money disappears overnight, it's not just the families who feel it. It's the cashiers, delivery drivers, truckers, store managers, and food suppliers. And here's the dangerous timing. All of this is unfolding just as stores are preparing for the holiday season. Grocers are already ordering turkeys, canned goods, and produce that they rely on to break even for the year. If 40 million Americans suddenly stop spending, store shelves will stay full longer, spoilage will rise, and prices could shift across the entire food supply chain. Economists are already warning that if the shutdown continues through November, It could cause measurable drops in retail food sales and increase waste costs across the country. The last time something even close to this happened was the 2018-2019 government shutdown, which lasted 35 days. Back then, the USDA scrambled to send out February food stamp payments early so families wouldn't go hungry. But even that rushed decision led to months of confusion. Overdrafts, late payments, and families running out of money halfway through the month. This time, the department has said it won't repeat that move. There will be no early release and no emergency funds. That means, for millions, there is no backup plan. Meanwhile, the blame game in Washington has reached full volume. Republicans accuse Senate Democrats of refusing to vote on the funding bill unless the extension includes Affordable Care Act subsidies, the extra federal support that helps millions of middle-income Americans afford their health insurance. Democrats, on the other hand, say Republicans caused the crisis in the first place by sending everyone home instead of negotiating. But as both sides trade press conferences and finger-pointing, the clock keeps ticking. The first critical date is November 1st, when SNAP benefits stop. The second is November 21st, when the temporary funding resolution officially expires. That's a 3-week window between two cliffs, one that hits households, the other that hits Congress. If lawmakers don't act before those deadlines, Speaker Johnson may be forced to bring the House back to Washington early to write an entirely new bill. But even that creates new complications, because a newly elected Democrat from Arizona would then be sworn in, adding another vote to the opposing side. In short, every possible path forward comes with new obstacles, and ordinary Americans are the ones caught in the middle. Seniors who depend on food aid might have to turn to local food pantries or community kitchens. Families already living paycheck to paycheck will be forced to stretch groceries even further.